And this is the Newstop with Denise Scott, and I'm here in London. How you doing, Mr. Newstop?
Good afternoon. How are you? U.S. identifies the three service members who were killed in drone strike in Jordan. The Pentagon on Monday released the identities of the three American service members killed Sunday by a drone strike in northeastern Jordan. The three were identified as Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, 46 of Carrollton, Georgia, SPC Kennedy Landon Sanders, 24 of Waycross, Georgia, and SPC Brianna Alexandria Morfitt, 23 of Savannah, Georgia. The three were all residents assigned to the 718th Engineer Company in Fort Moore, Georgia. Meanwhile, the number of those in the attack rose to more than 40, the Pentagon announced on Monday.
National Security spokesperson John Kirby said President Biden is committed to holding accountable those behind the drone strike. But Kirby also emphasized that we are not looking for a war with Iran, which U.S. officials say played a role in the attack. We'll do that on our own schedule, in our time, and we'll do it in a manner of the president's choosing, as he is commander-in-chief, he said. The attack in Jordan marks the first deadly attack on the U.S. forces in the Middle East since the Israel-Hamas broke out with the Hamas attacks on Israel on October 7th. The U.S. has been attempting to contain the conflict and prevent it from spreading further in the region. What happened? The aerial drone struck container housing unit at Tower 22, a remote base in northeast Jordan near the Syrian border early Sunday. Denise?
Tower 22 supports the Al-Taf garrison in southeastern Syria, where U.S. Special Operations have long operated in tandem. About 350 U.S. Army and Air Force personnel are deployed to the base. Central Command said at least 8 service members were evacuated out of Jordan to receive higher level care, but they are in stable condition.
This news comes to us in part with TASS News Agency and Other World News, which is public information. U.S. National Security Council Coordinator of Strategic Communications, John Kirby, said the U.S. Department of Defense was still in the early stages of assessing the damage from the airstrikes and was yet unaware how many militants were killed. Denise?
U.S. strikes on Iran and Syria on Friday were successful. The U.S. National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, John Kirby. We believe that the strikes were successful, he told the reporters. He said the U.S. Department of Defense was still in the early stages of assessing the damage from the airstrikes and was yet unaware how many militants were killed, if any. U.S. President Joe Biden earlier said that the U.S. military on Friday struck facilities in Iraq and Syria that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps or affiliated militia used to attack U.S. forces. The U.S. informed the Iraq government about the plans to carry out the strikes, Kirby said, but there has been no communication with the Iran following the attack that recently killed 3 U.S. troops in Jordan, he said.
And Denise, can you tell us about the NBC News concerning Senator Kyrsten Sinema?
Yes, in Washington, Senator Kyrsten Sinema, Independent Arizona, emphasized Thursday that Congress must negotiate a legislative agreement on immigration because of the humanitarian crisis along the U.S.-Mexican border. My opinion is that we must work until we find a solution because failure is not an option here. Sinema said in an interview with NBC News when asked if the Senate should remain in Washington until a deal has been reached. Sinema, who has been leading talks alongside Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat in Connecticut, and James Lankford, Republican in Oklahoma, said the negotiations over border security provisions are an important element to ensuring that we're fighting Putin and protecting and supporting our greatest ally in the Middle East, Israel.
Speaking in her hideaway office in the Capitol, Sinema deflected on questions about whether the Congress can pass an emergency measure to address the border security and provide U.S. aid to Israel and Ukraine before leaving the year. I am not interested in debating the timeline, she said. What I'm interested in doing is moving the process forward. And what I've demonstrated in my 5 years in the United States Senate is that I have a proven track record of bringing disparate interests and groups together, finding common ground and moving forward with bipartisan solutions. So the timeline is not a question for me. Sinema declined to share details about the talks among lawmakers, including those that have been reported by the NBC News, because I want to get us to an agreement. Watching Miss Sinema talk about that, part of the bill that she wants to be passed is that the migrants that are coming over the borderline will not be granted asylum if they're coming over the borderline to the United States of America, so that they can live their American dream. And also, her concern was cartel. So she wants to cut that down to certain ones that come over the borderline will be granted the asylum, but definitely they want to deny entry to those that are saying, I'm coming to the United States because I want to live the American dream or because of economic issues. So,
their lives packed on top of a moving freight train known as the Beast. Migrants seeking a new beginning over the Mexican border. These mostly from Venezuela, men, women and children, families clambering aboard where they can outside the Mexican town of Arapuato. They're part of a new wave of thousands amid a surge in illegal migration to the US. Sleeping on top of cardboard boxes here, these people had been waiting days next to tracks for an opportunity. Jorvier says, despite the risk we take, I would say we have no alternatives until we reach our destination.
Or if I don't know, it's already process of limiting now, no more than 5,000 immigrants to cross the border daily, between 4,000 and 5,000. On the high note, in our news time at the Newstop, we're going to turn it over to Miss Denise.
Okay, guys. American Fiction was the #1 movie of the year. Jeffrey Wright, Tracy Ellis Ross, Erica Alexandria, Isaiah Ray, and Sterling K. Brown. The best picture of the year.
What was interesting to me in that picture, we didn't see Miss Leslie Uggins. Now, Miss Leslie Uggins plays the mother of his guy, what's his name, Mr. Wright? She plays his mother in that film, and that lady is 80 years old. She is a legend. Let me read something real quick about her, because this is some Black history, living legend. So in 1961, Leslie Uggins became the first female African-American singer to star in a weekly television variety show as the top billed talent on Sing Along with Mitch. Say, this is a news stop with Denise Scott. Yours truly, London. See, Denise, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And we have a lot to pray about, as we say. So we're going to keep on praying.